Humans, Zilza, sneered the cowards of the stars. You call yourself sentient, yet you cling to peace, as if it were a shield. Believe your negotiations and treaties can protect you, but we see it for what it is. Fear you are weak, pathetic, unworthy of even being our enemies. He paused, a cruel smile curling at the edges of his mouth. Behind him holograms projected the Zorian fleet's conquest planets, consumed by fire, entire species obliterated by Zorin might. Each image was a grim reminder of their ruthless efficiency. For too long we have tolerated your existence, he continued, voice booming with confidence, but now the time has come. You have one cycle to send us your finest warriors. Let them face as Aorinalite, or we will raise Earth to show us if you have any honor. Ordi, as the cowards we know you to be with. A final mocking grin, the transmission ended, leaving humanity in a stunned silence in the heart of Earth's unaided global command. High above their planet, in the oral defense station, the tension was thick enough to cut. Generals and diplomats stared at one another, their faces grim. The Zorian had left them no choice. Humanity had never faced an enemy this powerful, an empire that stretched across systems sun-difted for millennia. General Malcolmra, a veteran of Earth's defense force, stood at the head of the table. His broadshoulders sagged under the weight of the decision they were about to make. This isn't just a war, it's a message, he said, his voice gravelly with age. They want to brick us before we even fight around Theatable. The council members shifted uncomfortably. Some whispered about diplomacy, evacuation plans, or even surrender, but for a core group, surrender was not an option. From the back of Theorem, a deep voice spoke up. Captain Andre Roussel, leader of Squad Alpha, the Mostolite unit of soldiers Earth had ever trained, stepped forward. His presence commanded attention. Towering muscular Andre represented the very best of humanity's warriors. We can't back down, Andre said firmly, his eyes sweeping Theorem. This is exactly what they want, to see us retreat, to prove their point. That's we're weak. We are not weak. General Ra nodded, his expression resolute. You're right, Captain. We have one option. We strike at their heart. We send a message of our own. All eyes turned to Andre. His steam, handpicked from the deadliest soldiers Earth had ever produced, had been preparing for something like this. For years humanity had known a day like this might come, and Squad Alpha had been built for it. Andre's mind flashed to his squadmates, Lieutenant Marcus Paul Hisicond in command, whose tactical brilliance had saved them more times than Andre could count. Sergeant Alan Graves, a hulking brute of a man, whose strength was matched only by his loyalty, and Corporal Leo Chen, the silent lethal sniper, who rarely miss a shot each oft, was ready for this. Train for this. Andre spoke again. We'll take the fight-o. Them there expect fear, will giveth them fury in the command center. The gravity of the moment pressed down on Avarian. There was no cheering nor alien cries, just a cold hard reality. If War General Ra stood his gaze hard. You'll lead the strike team, Captain. Your mission is to infiltrate the Zorian capital, Zalara, kill their leaders, break their chain of command. Andre nodded. Booth's mind was already ready on their mission ahead. This wasn't just about survival, it was about proving something to the Zorian, to humanity itself. They weren't just fighting to save Earth, they were fighting for the right to exist, toasted as equals in a galaxy that always looked down on them. As the meeting adjourned, Andre caught General Rayner's eye. We'll make them regret ever marking us. Rayner's lips twitched into a grim smile. I know you will, son. That night, as the squad prepared for deployment, Andre stood by the observation window, staring out at Thestas beyond the veil of darkness. Lazels, and beyond that, the Zoron King Hohad, dared to call humanity cowards, the journey through the wormhole was brief but disorienting. For Squad Alpha it was routine, but the stakes, this time, felt heavier. Captain Andre Russell clenched his jaw as the wormhole's vortex spit him out over Zil's wrath, the heart-oft Zorian Empire. The planet loomed large beneath them, an intimidating world bathed in a sickly red glow, its towering gobsidian structures clawed at the sky, and the atmosphere itself seemed hostile, pulsing with alien energy. Lieutenant Marcus Paul adjusted the visor on his helmet, his tactical mind already running gone scenarios. We need to move fast. Hest, his voice crisp over the comms. The planet's sensors will detect our breach soon. Andre nodded, his gaze sweeping over. Histim we go, silent, no mistakes. Sergeant Alan Graves hefted his plasma rifle, the massive weapon looking Alma smell in his grip. Let's make these bastards pay. He muttered, his ice narrowing beneath his helmet. Beside him, Corporal Leeson was already scanning their terrain, with his sniperscope eyes sharpened, unblinking. They touched down in the shadows of a massive fortress wall, the black stone of Zil's architectural learning. Over them, the fortress wasn't just a palace, it was a statement of Zorian dominance. Every angle of its jagged architecture screamed intimidation, its spikes and curves destined to remind invaders of their insignificance. But Squad Alpha wasn't deterred. Moving swiftly, they advanced under the cover of darkness. The air, Anzalara, was thick, almost oily, making Gavery breath feel like it was drawn through a swamp. Andre led the way, high segmented muscles moving in perfect harmony with the advanced tactical suit wore the teams. HUDs flickered with information, but they kept their eyes on the mission ahead. A faint hum broke through the stillness, and Andre raised a hand. Zoran patrol, 5 soldiers, their reptilian forms, clad in shimmering armors, slithered around a corner, their eyes glowing, a dull yellow scan the surroundings for intruders. They hadn't seen the humans, yet Andre signaled Thetium, silent kill with practice. Precision theme move like shadows. Marcus, quick and efficient, looped behind one guard and drove a plasma dagger through its spine. Grizzly's massive hands snapped Danathor's neck like a twig. Chen, ever Theg host, took out 2 from a distance before the bodies hit the ground. In seconds the patrol was down, and their squad moved on without a sound as they neared the palace's outer defenses. Paul's voice came over the comms, low buttons. We're in range of their security systems. They'll know something's up soon. Andre gritted his teeth. They couldn't have had detection this early, not before they reached the throne room. Chen disably. Chen nodded, his fingers moving quick over a control pad. Done, he whispered, hacking into the Zoron network and temporarily disabling the surveillance systems. It would buy them some time, but not much. They pressed on, crossing the displaced courtyard of the palace. The palace doors, massive and foreboding, gloomed ahead. Andre signaled the breach. Grizzly, ever the powerhouse, moved Toplant, a controlled explosive, at Theodore's base. The blast would be quick and silent, designed to get them inside without alerting the entire Zorian force. But as the charges went off and Theodore's groan open, a deafening roar split night. Zorian elites, taller and bulkier than the soldiers they had encountered, stormed out. Their scales gleamed with a biometallic sheen, and their energy blades crackled to life contact. Andre shouted, and the battlefield erupted. Blades clashed with plasma fire as Squad Alpha engaged the elites. Andre danced between them, his speed unmatched, cutting down enemies with calculated strikes. Paul, ever the tactician, coordinated their movements, sculling out threats and openings as Grizzly barreled to the Zorian with raw power, sending their massive bodies crashing into walls. But the elites Where formidable, they fought with the ferocity of cornered beasts their strength. Ansai's nearly overwhelming Chen, perched toe-top of ledge, provided cover fire, taking out critical threats with pinpoint accuracy, but for everyone that fell more seen to come. Andre locked eyes with Onuf, the Zorian commander's, a towering figure, with glowing red eyes, and a bladder twice the length of any human weapon. Thelian lunge, and Andre parried feelingth. Weight of the strike reverberate through his arms. This was no ordinary soldier. The commander let out a guttural hiss, macking Andre in its native tongue word. It spat, swinging its blade again faster this time, but Andre was faster with a fluid twist. He dodged the blow and drove his plasma blade deep into Thelian's chest. Not today, he muttered, as the commander collapsed in a heap. Thepelay's halls were littered with boders. No, the air thick with the stench of blood and burnt metal. Squad Alpha regrouped, panting but still standing. The Zorian elites were down, but the mission wasn't over. Far from it. They had made it inside the fortress, but the real battle still lay ahead. Beyond the next set of doors was a throne room where King Zelza waited. Andre wiped the blood from his blade and met his team's eyes. "Weaponish, this," he said, his voice low and determined. The squad nodded in unison, their exhaustion giving way to Lyra self. They moved forward, ready to confront the Zoran king and end this warrants. And for all, the throne room door scratched open with a deafening bang, revealing the vast ominous chamber where King Zelza waited. The room was grand and cold, with towering pillars carved from obsidian and a high ceiling that seemed to swallow all light. At the far end of the hall, King Zelza sat on a throne of alien metal, his golden armor gleaming beneath the dim red glow of Zelzaru's dying sun, his eyes burning with malice, locked onto the approaching humans behind him. The shattered remains of his council lay motionless, their bodies crumpled where Squad Alpha had torn through them. Andre Russell led his team into the chamber, his pulse steady despite the gravity of the moment. This was it, the final confrontation. King Zelza stood, his towering frame casting a long shadow over the room. He was massive, even more imposing than the Zorian elites they had faced. His crown was a cruel, jagged thing, and his eyes shone with a mixture of hatred and disbelief. So hissed his voice, carrying a venomous edge. The cowards finally come to die. Andre stepped forward, his gaze never leaving the Zorian king. No more speeches, no more mockery. This ends now. Zilla's lip curled in disdain. You truly believe you, a mere human, can defeat me? I have crushed empires older and stronger. Thanias, you are nothing, with a guttural roar. Zelza unsheds his massive energy blade, a weapon pulsating with raw destructive power, the air around Icamard with lethal energy warping Thespace. Near it, as if the blade itself defied reality, Andre readied his own plasma sword, the smaller human weapon looking almost insignificant in comparison. But Andre didn't waver. Zyla lunged with terrifying speed, his bladder cleaving through the air toward Andreth, human captain. Sidestep, just in time. Zoran's weapon slicing clean to a nerby pillar, shattering it into dust. Andre countered, driving his blade toward Zilla's exposed side, but decking twisted, deflecting the blow with his gauntlet. The two circled each other, their movements quick and lethal. Around them, Squad Alpha spread out, engaging their maining guards that tried to protect their King. Paul and Chen moved with lethal efficiency, picking off threats with precision, while Grizzly held the line against the bulk of the Zorian reinforcements. The duel between Andre and Zelza was fierce, each strike from Valian King threatening to overpower Andre. Zelza, size and strength, made him a devastating opponent, but Andre had something the Zoran King did not: speed and precision. Andre darted in and out off Scylla's reach, slashing at his arm or testing for weaknesses. You fight well for a human, Zilza, sneered his tone dripping with condescension, but it will not save you. Andre didn't answer. Instead feinted to the left, drawing Zilla's blade in that direction, then spun and drove his plasma sword deep into Thelian's abdomen. Zilza let out a bellow of pain, staggering back his golden armorants. Pristine was now scorched and cracked youth. Already lost, Andre growled, watching the king falter. Zilza roared again, this time more in fury than in pain. He swung wildly, his strikes growing desperate. Andre dodged and ducked, his focus unwavering. With one final movement, he stuck beneath Zilla and slashed upward, severing Thelian weapon arm. At the elbow, the king let out a howl of rage and agony, collapsing to his knees, clutching Thestum, where his arm had once been, and dressed it over him, his chest heaving. Zilla's eyes blazed with hatred. But there was something else in them. No fear. You cannot do this, Zilza gasped, his voice weak and strained. I am a king, I am invincible. Andre sheathed his blade, not any more. Without another word, he grabbed the fallen king by his leg, dragging the massive alien across the cold floor of his own throne room. Once proud ruler of the Zorian, now broken and humiliated, groaned in pain, his crown fallen into the ground with a hollow clatter. Squad Alpha moved to Andre's side, the palace now idly kicked. The last of the Zorian soldiers lay dead around them, grisly kicked Azadeth crowns spitting on the floor. Not Setef now, as Andre dragged Zilza out in tow. The open courtyard, the remaining Zorian forces, those two afraid Tokalinj Squad Alpha watched in stunned silence. Their king, the ruler they had believed to be invincible, was nothing more than a beaten, pathetic figure dragged through the dirt by the Verispices he had mocked. Let them see. Andre muttered more to himself than to his team. Let them know what happens when they underestimate us. The Zorian didn't move. They stood frozen, their fearsome gazes now filled with disbelief and terror. Zilla's empire had crumbled in a matter of hours, and humanity had proven themselves more than worthy of. Andre let go of the king leg, leaving Zilza lying in the dirt, gasping and defeated. It's over, Andre said quietly, for you, for your empire. As they boarded their extraction ship and glanced back at the ruins of the Zorian capital, the broken remnants of an empire that had once threatened the entire galaxy. They had done it, humanity hadn't it. The ship rose into the sky, leaving the battered world behind. Andre, staring out at the red horizon, felt a grim satisfaction. Humanity had not only served, they had won.